Okay, I see y'all. I'm just setting everything up here. Hi, love you too. So I am going to be. I know you guys think that this is just me, but if you didn't see my post, Jeffrey Boyer Chapman and I are going to be talking about adoption in the LGBTQIA plus community and how we as part of the community can adopt, foster to adopt. So this is a very exciting Instagram Live for me, being an adopted kid. I'm just waiting for Jeffrey to log on here. Let me text him. Do you guys like my background? My daughter's, this is fun, Visage fun fact. This is called the hoe room. And it's not because I'm a hoe. Well, technically. HO stands for hangout room. So my kids have been calling it the hoe room forever. You like the grays, kids? They're kind of up today because my hair is filthy. Let me text Jeffrey. Request me. Okay. Oh, you're here. Okay, great. Go live. I got my protein shake. Girls trying to be healthy going into 2021. Yeah, so I look like I'm a tarot card reader. This is Lola's.
Hiya.
Hi, Jeffrey Boyer.
Hello, Michelle Visage. How are you, my angel?
I was just FaceTiming with you when you had no shirt on, so you're now.
It was very sexy, wasn't it?
I was putting my makeup on and you were naked. I love it.
I know, that's real love right there, honey baby sugar child.
Art?
I'm so good. You look gorgeous right now, and I love the whole room personally.
The whole room. So I didn't realize it. I was like, hang out room, and Mom and Lola was like, I don't know, 12, 13. And fun fact, Lola, who's like my weed smoking daughter who loves the D, she wouldn't even
Sounds
say
like
crap.
Me.
Thank you. Crap, she would go, if I said crap or Lily said crap, she would go, Mom, stop saying that. So she was like our Mormon child. So now when we named it the hoe room, she's like, I can't sit in there if it's called the hoe room. And now she's like, hey, come on into the hoe room.
Yes, I love it. I see that we have Brooklyn Heights on here as well. Hey, Brooklyn.
Oh, she lives for the gray. She lives for the gray. And just a little idea, I thought this has nothing to do with Extraordinary Families, the fabulous organization that we are lucky to be on the board of. We'll get into that in 2 seconds. But when I get sick of the gray, and Brooklyn, I'm talking to you, I think I'm going to do this chunk copper red.
Ooh, I love that.
It'll be black, and this will be copper.
I love that. That's gorgeous. I love the front streak so much. It's so Gloria Steinem-esque. It's like you're an automatic legendary feminist hero with that streak.
Compare me to Gloria. So Jeffrey and I are here. My whole head is gray, by the way, as you see. I need to touch it. But I'm not ready to go full Miranda Priestley yet. I are honored and lucky enough to be part of an incredible organization called Extraordinary Families. And they are just wonderful in getting kids from Los Angeles County into forever homes. And a lot of people in the LGBTQIA plus community are either kind of, pushed aside, forgotten, told they can't adopt, or don't know how to. So they're on here watching us right now. And we wanted to share our stories because we're both adopted kids. So I know y'all are thinking we're talking about Drag Race. We'll get into that later because I see y'all. Like Drag Race, yes, because the trailers just dropped and they just found out Drag Race UK is happening. And, we've got Canada represented right here.
Yes, girl. Well, all you Drag Race fans out there, we will have some swag and some prize and some incentives for you to follow along on Extraordinary Families' IG page and to donate and help where you can. And we'll have several tiers of donations where if you follow or support in any way, you can be signed up to win some Drag Race swag, including autographed copies of the best-selling book Diva Rules by Michelle Visage.
And t-shirts that Jeffrey will talk about in a minute. But
yes.
at the beginning, I want to say you guys can go to extraordinaryfamilies.org/IG Live, and you can see the giveaways, and you could donate if you see fit there. And it really is a wonderful organization. So Jeffrey and I just wanted to share our stories first. And I know this is a different kind of live for y'all Drag Race people, but I think you're really enjoy what we have to say, because I think we're all on the same page about helping queer families become, expand their families with adoption and fostering to adopt. So that's what we love so much. So Jeffrey, your story is interesting because you were adopted and you were in Canada. You have a really story. So why don't you?
Well, you have a really interesting story as well, which I just think is the best part about sharing, finding that common connection and sharing our adoption stories, because there's always something fascinating about it and something that we can all relate to on some level. And I know that from the very first day that you and I met, Michelle, on season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, we connected and bonded instantly over our adoption stories. And no two stories are the same, but all are fascinating. And I just believe that all adoption stories happen for a reason. So I was born and raised in Canada. My biological father was from Jamaica. My mother's family was from the UK. They met in Canada. They were very young, had me, and gave me up for adoption. I was very, very blessed that I was adopted relatively quickly. I was 12 days old when I was adopted. From a family in Canada in a very small town. My mama Carrie and my dad George, they were unable to have children of their own, so they signed up to adopt, and they adopted a little girl named Jordan 3 years before me, who was a little white girl, and then signed up quickly after to adopt another child, and they got me, and they had no real guidelines or rules or restrictions onto what they wanted in a child, any gender, any race, any age, and they ended up with me, this little biracial angel, as you can see here. I as years went on, I always knew that I was adopted. And I always felt just incredibly unconditionally loved by my family, but I still had a lot of curiosity and wanted to know where I came from. I had so much in common with my mother specifically and my family, but there was so much of me that just I couldn't identify or relate to with the people around me. So it was important to me to find my roots and to find out who it was and where it was that I came from. And that is something that I did in my early 20s, is when I first started seeking out and finding my biological family. I discovered that I'm one of 15 children. I know, mind-blowing. My father is Jamaican. He's traveled the world and spread that Jamaican Rastafarian seed. I'm just a product of it, child. Yeah. So I ended up meeting my little brother Cleon first, who is he's incredible. He's a football player. He plays for the Canadian football team, the Toronto Argonauts, and we met when he was 21, I was 25. I was living in New York City, and there was something so magical about the first time that we met, because it was the first time that I had ever been in the same space as somebody who I shared a bloodline with. The first time that I could look into somebody's face and really see a true reflection of myself. And through, deep conversation and connection and getting to know each other, we realized that we have so much in common, and there's something so magical about the nature versus nurture aspect of adoption. I feel like I have the best of all worlds. I have really wonderful qualities of my character, and I was blessed in so many ways to be raised by the family that I was raised with. But now, knowing my biological family, I feel like I have a complete picture of who I am. And I'm very aware of the fact of how blessed I am to be in this position.
So you met your biological family,
Yeah.
and you have a relationship with them, which is wonderful, because that doesn't happen that way. And I think a lot of people need to realize that. And that's an element of something to think about when going into fostering, going into adopting, because that element will always be there. For me, it was a long time ago in the wild west. No, in New Jersey. And my adoption, I was born a Perth Amboy. I was put up for adoption with this adoption agency In Plainfield, and my story is very interesting. My biological mother was 17, and she got pregnant the first night she lost her virginity.
Girl, I
Talk
did
about
not know this.
bad luck.
Good luck, honey. Good luck.
My biological father basically said, go have an abortion. Luckily for me, they weren't legal yet. So my biological mother couldn't tell her mother because she had mental issues and it wouldn't be good. So she told her stepmother, and the stepmother said, you're going to come live with us and you're going to give that baby up for adoption. So she did. And here's a really interesting story. Usually when you give a baby up for adoption, out of respect for how difficult it is for the mother, they don't bring the baby in to be fed, because pulling that baby away from the mother is like, you don't want to see the baby belongs to somebody else. So they didn't know that, and they brought me into my mother to be fed. And she gave me my first bottle. She said she never named me because she knew I was going. My parents waited 3 years for me. It was a private adoption agency, but they had to wait 3 years before I was placed with them. I was in foster care for 4 months. I never knew who my foster mother was. That'd be so cool to find out one day. I don't know if she'd still be with us because I'm, 52 years old. Thank you. But it was an interesting story, because when I met my biological mother, it wasn't that Oprah moment. And I went back and forth for this for a lot of years, because my mother, Arlene, who I was adopted into a Jewish family. My mother is Hungarian, biological mother, Hungarian Irish Catholic from Newark, New Jersey. And I got adopted into this Jewish family, which is complete opposite. Joanne, my biological mother, found out I was adopted into a Jewish family. She was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I wanted you in a Jewish family. It was really cute. We were like one of 2 Jewish families in Plainfield, New Jersey. So the cards were just that way. And when I told my mother I wanted to find my biological mother, she was really upset. And it took my aunt to say to her sister to say, Arlene, without that biological mother, we wouldn't have our Michelle. And that changed everything. So that I got a really, I was lucky to, when I got married to my husband, to be able to have my biological mother light a candle. She then gave the candle to my mom. My mom gave a candle to my new mother-in-law. And it was a really special moment. My father and I, my biological father, our relationship is complicated. I'm not going to get into it on here. It's just complicated. But not all adoption families stories are fabulous, but they all tell a story. I'm talking about biologicals with the kids that are put up for adoption. And adoption saves lives. And these kids that are sitting in the foster care right now, and there are so many in Los Angeles County alone, are looking for their forever homes. And the people out there that are looking to adopt, my parents changed my life. Now, I didn't get adopted into a wealthy family. My family was, I'd say, lower middle class. They both worked. I was a latchkey kid who let herself in and out of her house. My parents, but I never went without. And I know that if my mother had kept me, it would have been a much more difficult situation. I did meet my biological sisters. I have 2 half sisters, and they're wonderful, different fathers, wonderful. And, I wouldn't change it. My mother, neither one of my mothers are here anymore, but I did get to have a great relationship with my biological mother, and through her found my beautiful, beautiful sisters, who are Southern. They were born in New Jersey, but moved down. So they talk like y'all. One in Tennessee, one lives in North Carolina. So I have a little bit of Southern, not in me, but my sisters, and raised down there. It's just a really interesting story. I feel like we have a story to tell. And I always say that we adopted kids are the chosen ones, because my parents waited a long time for me, and then 3 more years for my brother. And you were lucky enough to get adopted pretty quickly. But all our stories are positive, because we were adopted into loving families, and we were raised by families that cared and loved us, which is why I think I'm so passionate about being a mother to so many queer children out there who don't feel like they fit in. So this is not about me, Jeffrey. It's not about you. It's about helping to get these kids into forever homes because they do need help. And there are people out there that really, really want to foster and adopt, and they think because they're not the traditional nuclear family, they're not going to be, or they, you know, they're not rich, they're not going to be approved. But that's what's beautiful about extraordinary families and why we love the philanthropic approach that they have. And they're just such a wonderful organization. And we do have some statistics here. A lot of children in Los Angeles enter foster care, and actually around the world, due to abuse and neglect, and it's not their fault. And a lot of these blame their fault. They make it their fault. They blame themselves. Adopted. They blame themselves for being put into foster care. If any kids are watching that are in care right now, it is not your fault, baby. You are perfect.
And I think that's something so important to hear and to know, Michelle, because I feel like it's, you know, a part of the reason why potential foster or adoption parents are hesitant to seek, you know, creating forever families and finding children through foster and adoption agencies, because they're fearful of the trauma or of that child's history or past or whatever it may be. But to have that understanding that the reason why the majority of children end up in the foster system is because of neglect or abuse that has nothing to do with them. And you know, at the end of the day, we all have trauma and all have things to work through, but I think there's a tremendous level of empathy that can be nurtured and expressed when we have that understanding that we all go through challenging things in life, no matter where it is that we come from. And we all have the ability to create a safe space in our hearts to welcome others in and to help them heal and work through that trauma.
So true. And the kids have to stop blaming themselves, because really, the parents have their own ish to get together, and it's to do with you. Sadly, you're what happens. You're the shrapnel, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you. You are perfect. You didn't ask for the situation, and we doing these type of things are hoping to get kids placed. And it is called Extraordinary Families. That's the name of the organization. Please follow them. Older children. Now I'm saying 8 years and up, but I'll even say more like 5 or 6, you know, statistically 8 years and up, they remain in foster care longer and have multiple foster homes. So they do the jumping around thing. Again, if foster parents can't take care of them, they move on to the next one. And a lot of these kids get to, you know, the age of 18 and then they age out of the system. And then what do these kids do? Where do they go? So this is why companies like Extraordinary Families are so very important, because these kids can get placed. And I know, you know, I do have biological children. I did, you know, have biological children, 2 girls of my own. But I do hope to adopt in the future. I really do. It's something that I want to do. My brother adopted. They adopted a beautiful boy. And we can all, if we can open our hearts, this is a great way, and our home's a great way to do it. So less than 2%. Listen to this, less than 2% of children from foster care were ages 12 plus, because the babies, they go and they go quick, and the little ones. But these kids, especially the ones ages 8 to 15, that are even, you know, 8 to 17, they're the ones that really need the help. They're the ones that really need the guidance. And it just,
I mean, on top of that, Michelle, you're absolutely right. And on top of that, you know, another just fascinating and shocking number to me was that 84% of children in foster care in LA County are children of color. Majority Black and brown children, you know, African American heritage and Hispanic. And I think that the reason why that statistic was so eye-opening and enlightening to me was because, given the current state of the world that we are in right now, and this era of the Black Lives Matter movement, and the awareness around racial inequity and racial disparities and white privilege and white supremacy, to recognize how all of that plays directly into this number of 84% of children in foster care system in Los Angeles being those of Black and brown descent. I just think it's fascinating. And, you know, I think that the intention behind this is to call people in and to bring awareness to the reality of adoption and fostering worldwide, not only in Los Angeles County, but you know, I have a lot of friends, as do you, that are in tremendous places of privilege, who want children and can't have children and have resorted to many different options, including IVF and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in attempts to be able to procreate themselves. And I think that part of this racial awakening is recognizing that we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and we all need to foster and really nurture and nourish a sense of empathy, as I was saying before. And in doing that, recognizing that you know, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on IVF treatments to, as upper middle class, wealthy white individuals, as opposed to exploring the options of reaching out and helping marginalized individuals and opening your home to Black and brown individuals. Not only are you doing an incredible act of kindness and love and empathy for those out there in need, but you're also going to open your own heart and expand your own mind to experience things that you never even considered in the past, and having an awareness of the racial inequity and the privilege that goes along with having your own children in other ways. It's so important to know.
100%. But I do want to add, for the people that do go through the IVF process, because my sister-in-law did this, and it didn't work, and they ended up adopting. There is this weird societal thing where, you know, they put it in you. You know, they put it in you where they're not your kids, so to speak, unless you have them biologically, which is such, bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I'm a product of my family, and they did not biologically birth me or have me. I am definitely a product of Marty and Arlene, and I'm very proud to be adopted. So the women that do struggle with IVF and you go through that, that's your own journey. But please, if you are struggling with trying to conceive, please always keep adoption in your mind, because it is such a wonderful and rewarding and beautiful thing, not just for the child, but for you. You will be rewarded in so many ways. But also 30% of those kids that you're talking about in foster care identify as LGBTQIA+. So that's a very, very, very large number. And these kids are the ones that, you know, don't really have anybody to look after them and to guide them. So if you are in the rainbow umbrella and you are looking to foster and adopt, please get in touch with Extraordinary Families. I know somebody I was reading, it's very quick, but I see the horrendous comments too. You don't need to be here. But the ones that do want information, Extraordinary Families, they were asking about the paperwork and how difficult it is, and they walk you through it. They're so wonderful at this organization. So if you do have questions, follow them. You know, look, Extraordinary Families has an Instagram. You can go to, like I said earlier, extraordinaryfamilies.org/IG Live. We're trying to not only raise money, but to more importantly raise awareness that if you are looking to adopt and are wanting to open your home to foster these children, this is incredible. If you have questions, Miss Vanjie, yes, of course you're my child. If you please reach out to them, please, because they will answer your questions. Jeffrey and I are not about, you know, the expense and the paperwork, because we don't know. Mm-hmm. If we knew, we'd tell you. But you're better off talking to somebody at Extraordinary Families. Are wonderful. They're helpful. They'll give you all the information that you need. And we've got some great incentive out there for you to do it. We've got, you can enter to win a bunch of things, including, and if you go to Extraordinary Families, it's on there. You can win there's a VIP package, a DragCon VIP package, which has a jacket, a beanie, a pin set, some stuff from How's Your Head Hun, my show in the UK, some RuPaul metal art, the Lip Sync Assassin t-shirt. I've got signed Diva Rules book. Jeffrey, tell everybody the t-shirts that you're putting up there.
Sure, yes. So I have this incredible line of these limited edition t-shirts that I did as a collab with a London-based artist named Layman Lassine. So we have 3 different shirts. This androgynous one here, this respect otherness one here, and the one that I'm wearing, the biracial angel. And so each shirt is $50, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go to Extraordinary Families.
This is what it's all about. So you can see the link. It keeps coming up. And Morgan McMichaels, you are the first one to understand that this was Janet Jackson. Thank you. I've been wearing it like on everything. I'm waiting for somebody to say, Janet, Morgan McMichael's got that. So all the information, you guys, like Jeff, could be found on extraordinaryfamilies.org/IG Live. And again, raising funds, but most importantly, raising awareness, especially all children. But like Jeffrey said, there are much more Black and brown skinned children that are in foster care that are waiting for their forever homes. And a lot of these children are queer. And it's important. It's really important for these kids to have a chance at life. Jeffrey and I see a lot of adopted kids on here saying that they're adopted too, and we are the lucky ones. So it's Jeffrey and my, what we want to do in this world is to help the kids that haven't been so lucky and are in foster care yet find their forever homes. A lot of people are saying they've been thinking about adoption recently. Please check out Extraordinary Families on their Instagram here, their website, and they have all the information for you. They are absolutely wonderful.
So brilliant, Michelle. So brilliant on so many levels, and something that I was so taken by when you and I had our first board meeting with Extraordinary Families was learning that so many queer individuals out there, whether you're a single gay man or a trans woman or man or a lesbian couple or whatever it may be, aren't aware of the options that they too can be foster parents or can foster to adopt. And Extraordinary Families offers just phenomenal training programs to prepare you to foster to adopt, to equip you with all of the information and education that you could ever need so that you are fully prepared to bring in a child of any age, any race, any gender identity, and create a safe space for them to grow and be nurtured and to expand themselves and to hopefully and maybe become a part of your forever family. The original intention and the priority is always to reunite children in foster care with their biological families, if it's appropriate, if it's safe, if it's necessary. But so often, if that's not the case, then the foster families are going to be the ones who are the next option.
And there is no cost to foster, by the way. Fostering to adopt is through the county and through people like Extraordinary Families is much more affordable than you think it is. And it's really just opening your home. And somebody was just on here. I was reading them when you were speaking. The comments, and somebody said that they're a kid in foster care waiting to be adopted. And wow. We love you and we're here for you and you be adopted as well. It's just important. These kids deserve a chance. They deserve that to know that their worth and their value. Because life has dealt a different card to them, they feel less than, and you are not less than. You are amazing, and we're going to do our part to try to get you into your forever family, in your forever home, and it's really important. So this is really specifically for LA County, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so this is really specifically for LA County. So if you are watching and you are interested in fostering and fostering to adopt, please check out extraordinaryfamilies.org /IG Live. That's got all the information on there for everything that we're doing today. And any questions, you could email them. They are wonderful people. Follow them on Instagram. Get all the information. Jeffrey and I, we shared our stories, but our stories are much deeper than that. And there's so many things that we don't talk about because, it's a big thing and it's a big thing to talk about. So we also want to be respectful of our families and our biological families and adopted families as well, because so much of the intimate details of our stories are so vulnerable and so personal and so universally relatable. But we just want to try to be as mindful and respectful as we can about all of that. Thinking about the literal time that we are at right now, December 15th, 2020, Christmas is coming up, and Extraordinary Families can always use donated toys to the organization. And also you can go ahead, if you don't feel like, if you're not in Los Angeles, if you're wondering if there's anything specific that you can do to help this organization, you can always donate gift cards to the children who are in foster care through this organization. So
send a $100 or $50 or $25 gift card to Target or Best Buy or Walmart or whatever it may be, because these gift cards will go directly to the children to be able to buy themselves a Christmas or a holiday gift, or even just provide themselves with some essentials and some necessities.
That's wonderful. And again, just like Jeffrey said, and anything is welcome. If you can't do 100, you can't do 50, you can do 10, you can do
Yeah.
5. Anything is welcome. Thank you so much. So you can go to extraordinaryfamilies.org/IG Live. That's tons of official World of Wonder merchandise, RuPaul signed photos, limited edition Jeffrey Boyer Chapman t-shirts, signed the Diva Rules books. Jeffrey might be doing some cameos.
You got a
Greg,
shirtless one this morning, honey. You got a shirtless cameo from me this
yeah,
morning.
I did. I got the perfect packets, beanies. That's 10 packages being given away. We're doing this because we want to raise awareness and we want to get these kids placed into their forever homes. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And we want to thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions, please, extraordinaryfamilies.org/IG Live, and follow them on Instagram, Extraordinary Families. They are wonderful. You are wonderful. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. We are wishing you Happy New Year. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. We absolutely adore you. Jeffrey Boyer Chapman, I love, love, love you, baby.
I love you so much, Michelle. You are my chosen family. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. And thank you to everyone for tuning in with us, for following along. Please, follow Extraordinary Families on Instagram and spread the word, spread the love, stay kind, stay bright, stay loving. The world needs more of it. And being involved in this organization gives us the perfect opportunity to do so, to spread that love.
I love that. And I love you all. Happy holidays. Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Bye.